Hi guys, today I'll be painting a Deathguard model in pre-heresy colors. I started off with a base coat of Chaos Black through a spray can, and once that's dry I apply a coat of German red brown to all the armor parts on the model. I do this through an airbrush. Once that's applied, I apply a coat of chipping medium to all the armor parts on the model. You don't really need to do the inside of the model like the inside of the legs, because it's not that important to do that. Once that's dry, I apply a coat of black on all the armor parts again. Make sure that you don't mix in any water in the paint, because the water will activate the chipping medium, and this goes for the coming layers until you're done chipping. So use a retarder or airbrush thinner for that. Using light brown, I now paint in all the white armor parts. It's not that big of a deal if you have a little bit of the red brown still showing in the deeper recesses. This is then followed by a top-down highlight of bone white. I did paint larger flat surfaces on the underside of the model as well. Using yellow olive, I now paint in the shoulder pads. And again, don't use water to thin this paint down. This is followed by a highlight of Sherwood green. I do this by just applying a small circle on top of the shoulder pad. Here I apply a coat of water, enough water, it's a lot of water, on the entire model. I do this to activate the chipping medium. And this is then followed, obviously, by chipping the model. You can do this by a brush or a toothpick. If you want some scratches, you could actually use a nail or just what you have at hand. Just make sure you don't go through all the paint layers by scratching too hard. Next, I make a mixture of 1 part bone white and 1 part dead white, and I highlight the bottom of all the chips. I'm not highlighting the armor actually, because it's not needed when you paint this way. Using pure dead white, I'm going to reinforce the highlights, and I do this on the most visible areas on the model, and I just leave the highlights on the darker areas alone. On the shoulder pads I do the same thing, but I use a mixture of 2 parts Sherwood green and 1 part dead white. Using black metallic, I'm going to block in all the metallic parts on the model now. The next step is to wash all the metallics with a good coat of non-oil. I'm not actually holding back with this. I don't really mind if it goes next to the metallics. It will enhance the look of the Deathguard model when it's finished. Using German grey, I'll now block in the black parts, dark grey black parts. This is then followed by a wash of non-oil. I should have painted German grey before I washed the metallics actually, and it would have saved some time. Using German grey, I'm going to apply a highlight to the black parts now. I'm just staying on the edges of the model, in this case the bolter casing. And then I'll apply an edge highlight to the same part again, using 4 parts German grey and 1 part dead white. Using gunmetal, I'm now going to highlight the metallic parts. I do this by just drawing thin lines on the trimming on the model, and I'll gently dry brush the parts like the rims on the shoulder pads. The model is nearly done now, and I'm going to make a wash consisting of a white spirit, which you see here, and I mix in streaking grime from AK Interactive. I tested it out, it was a bit too thin, so I added a bit more and I got roughly this consistency. Then I take the light rushed wash, also from AK Interactive, and I mix that in a bit to just change the color up a little bit. Please guys, make sure you do this outside or in a well ventilated room. This stuff really smells bad, and you can get a horrible headache from it. I just apply it to the model in a well, very thick coat. Just want to make sure the entire model is covered with it. Changes the color of the model a bit more grimy, more darker, and more like how I feel a Deathguard Marine should look. It takes quite some time to dry, up to 24 hours, so take your time with it. The next step is painting gory red in the eyes. I just block in the entire eyes. This is followed by a thin line of bloody red in the center of the eye. Next I paint in a thinner line with sun yellow, starting from the front of the eye, working backwards a little bit. So after this the model is done. I painted the basing and I applied a coat of matte varnish to the entire model. I also dusted it in with a bit of weathering powder on the legs. I'll put some links down below to videos in which I show you how to do that. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.